My favorite run in the UFC champion division was our ruthless reign of Robbie Lawler. I hope he knocks Ben Askren out viciously. I'm actually growing to like Ben Askren more. I didn't like him much because I thought he was like one of those wrestling types, but after like kind of looking at his record, he had quite a few finishes, and he's had some pretty witty comebacks and stuff on Twitter. He's like an intellectual fighter, which is fun to see, but I really hope Robbie wins. He's just like an OG, scrapper, so I hope he wins by knockout. But Askren's good. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to call. I'm going to pick Robbie by knockout.
Interesting conversation, which is who is the last of the old school fighters? And Shogun. Shogun was the name I kept reading, and I'm going, hey, you know what? I think you've got that wrong. I believe the correct answer is Robbie Lawler. I don't think there's anybody in this sport, still competitive at a high level, who can date themselves back further than Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler goes back. I'll tell you the first time I ever saw him on my TV. He was 19 years old. The year was 2001, and he was fighting a guy named Aaron Riley, which, by the way, to this day, is one of the greatest fights I have ever seen.
Oh, Robbie will starch him for sure. Robbie's power is too much, and he got caught the first time they fought back, 15, 20 years ago or something, back in the early UFC days, but I don't see that happening again. He's just much more skilled, and Nick's been taking his time off and partying and just out of the limelight and not even training the last 7-8 years. And Robbie, I know, is a good family man, and he works hard in the gym. So, there's no way that Ruthless Robbie Lawler doesn't come out with his hand getting raised.
The real thing on Lawler was this was an explosive, athletic guy who was really intimidating looking and didn't mind taking his shirt off and getting into a fist fight. That was the story on Robbie Lawler. And then if you broke him down a little bit further, once you started to have a bunch of matches, you go, okay, there's a way to beat him. Now, whether you can go out there and actually do it or not, but to understand what you need to do started to become pretty clear, right? Get this guy off his feet, hold him there. Get up and go home. If he brings a storm at you, weather the storm, he'll get tired. Then your opportunity is going to come. I mean, that message was out there. It was clear and he was fun to watch, but you still understood this. Now, the reason I bring that up is because later in his career, he changed his whole story. I mean, he went from a guy that was looking to get you out of there in the first 5 minutes, and if he didn't, then to hell with it. We had some fun, and maybe tonight you're not. I mean, he went from that guy to the longer the fight, the better the fight.
Robbie Lawler, too. To be honest, depends on Robbie Lawler. Cerrone likes to bully. When he gets bullied, it doesn't. And man, Robbie Lawler is a bully. So if Robbie Lawler is right, is the same Robbie Lawler against the first fights of Johnny Hendricks or like Rory McDonald? No chances for Cerrone.
Robbie Lawler's last fight was Neil Magny, and Neil Magny beat him. He hasn't fought in about a year, I think. Robbie Lawler, right? Fighting, getting himself healthy again, because when you're that old and you've been through all these wars and you've been a champion, I think like eventually sometimes it's good to take some time off. A guy like me, no, I need to be active, you know what I mean? But a guy like him, sometimes 6 months out without fighting to almost a year, it's actually good for you, you know what I mean? So I would say I have to go for Robbie Lawler. I have to, because I just think Nick Diaz has been so inactive, and I don't know what he does with his life. I really don't. I know he does triathlon. I know he smokes a lot of weed. So I don't know, man. And I know Robbie Lawler is more of a dedicated athlete fighter, and he took a lot of time off, and I think he's gonna come in a little bit more fresh. You know what I mean? Well, Nick Diaz Nick Diaz is tough. He's gonna put pressure. He's not a big power puncher, but he could drop you. I'll go for Robbie Lawler. I think Robbie Lawler is gonna finally get that W back, because he's been on a losing streak. I think he's gonna get that W back.
Let's start with Robbie. Okay, this fight is probably not only makes sense for Robbie, it's probably exciting. Why? Because he is a cage fighting brawler who lost to this guy in the past. It's a mega spot, and he wants to get that one back. And frankly, it's what he does anyway. All right. Robbie Lawler's different though.
Robbie Lawler, I think Robbie Lawler is going to catch him with some hard shots, and Cerrone's been known to be a little soft to the body maybe, and he's coming up to 170, or he's fighting at 170. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like he's been dropped quite a bit, and he's been hurt with body shots. And Robbie's a very, 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 very durable guy. So I got to go with the durability, and I think Robbie's gonna finish that one.
I mean, go see his match with Matt Brown. Go see his match with Robbie Lawler. Go see his fight with Johnny Hendricks. Lawler started getting better later in the fight. And it wasn't, from my vantage point, a case of him understanding pace-wise how to extend a match. He still was the guy that was trying to get your ass out of there in the first 5 minutes. He just did away with the part where he threw his hands up with frustration if that didn't work. He just went and tried for the next 5 minutes. And he didn't get frustrated then. He went and tried for the next 5 minutes. And then he didn't get frustrated then. And he just kept going.
I think Lawler gets it, and that's who I'm looking to match up with next. I want Robbie Lawler. We used to train together. We know each other well. It's nothing personal to him. It's just business. I want to fight that guy. I want to fight the best, and I'm going to beat the best.
I think Lawler's a real tough dude. He hasn't taken a lot of damage in his career. And Lawler is a really good adapter. So I feel like Lawler is going to adapt well to Cerrone's his style is kickboxing. Cerrone, I hate to say it, but he's kind of one-dimensional with his striking. I mean, he's kind of easy to figure out and pick apart once you are in there with him and get his movement down. So I'm going to go Lawler just because of his ability to adapt and how smart he is when he's fighting.
I don't think that Robbie Lawler's takedown defense is that great. And Ben Askren does a good job of chaining together the wrestling. So if you stop the first takedown, here comes the second, third. So I just think that he's going to put Robbie on his back. They're probably going to be a main event, right? Okay, all right, yeah. So for 3 rounds, Lawler's going to be on his back.
Look, Robbie Lawler has a resting, intense face. Okay, he has an angry face on even when he's as happy as can be. His resting face is that of a very intense man. If you guys ever meet Robbie Lawler, he's not going to say a whole lot to you. He's a pretty quiet guy, but he's also he's a gentleman. Absolutely, Robbie Lawler is a gentleman. When you shut that door, which is where the fans would largely see him the most, he's as intense and ruthless and mean as anyone that's ever done it.